What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 78 of the Silver and Gold podcast. I'm Josh,
And I'm Mike.
and today, we've got a lot to get through. Mike's not very happy with me right now because of that video that I posted while I was in Las Vegas. I'm obviously back now, so we can go ahead and talk about the big news. The 49ers have extended Brock Purdy, quarterback, over the past couple years. He is now going to be the quarterback over the next few years. To be more specific, Brock Purdy signed.
Sorry,
Okay.
five.
I
I was
thought
just
you were
saying.
like, hold up.
No, no,
I
no,
thought you were
no.
gonna bring up that video. I thought you were gonna say, yeah, that video
Yeah,
fucking sucked. But
yeah.
yeah,
You
no,
want to talk about toilet? This
yeah,
deal's a no.
no. But Brock Purdy signed his extension for 5 years, $265 million, with 181 million guaranteed, and I think about 5 million guaranteed to Josh from the Silver and Gold podcast. I think that was the main, you know, little caveat as to why it took so long. But you know, obviously joking about that last part, it comes out to 53 million per year. You know, if you take a look at it from like an average standpoint, but obviously when we learn a little bit more about how the guarantees are going to work, what money goes into which year, you know, then we'll start to kind of get a better idea of how this contract is. Um, but what I will say is Brock Purdy is now no longer the cheapest quarterback in the NFL. He is now one of the richest players in NFL history from, I guess, a yearly average standpoint. Um, Mike, before I like share my immediate thoughts, do you have any thoughts?
Um, I didn't have any major thoughts. I was kind of in the middle of work and I was trying to speed it up at work when this dropped. But I was just like, oh wow, and I was curious what the average came out to, and then I saw somebody say 53 million. I saw Tyler say like, "Yep, wow, he's getting paid on average. I don't know if this is true, more than Justin Herbert."
It is true.
Um, yeah, so it's it's what I kind of expected. Honestly, it this is really just what I expected for the quarterback market. You didn't necessarily break the bank in the sense of, you know, nobody was going to pass a Dak Prescott deal. Um, how much does Deshaun Watson make per year on his deal?
Deshaun Watson makes 46 million per year.
Okay, yeah, and obviously Purdy deserves more than him. But that deal was a sham. Really, what that was Deshaun Watson holding a very uh,
He drew a hard
he
line with the Browns.
he drew a hard line. Well, it wasn't just the Browns. He had four suitors. He had like the Falcons, Browns, maybe the Saints, and some other team trying to trade for him from the Texans, and part of that was getting the deal done. It was a whole thing. Obviously, we need to talk more about Purdy, but just he held them hostage, and that's how he got his deal done. And look how that turned out. That's not trying to say anything towards Purdy. Purdy is way better than Deshaun Watson. Um, and I guess point being, this is what I expected because Purdy is a good starting quarterback. He's the franchise quarterback of this team, so it makes sense that they pay him $53 million per year. And if the guarantees or the way that this affects the salary cap, what have you, if it becomes this team friendly deal somehow, then good. But at the same time, he has been, you know, accommodated properly financially after playing out on you know, the worst contract in football, really, Mr. Irrelevant contract. So he had probably one of the greatest pay raises, probably the greatest pay raise of all time in football history.
Yeah. You know what I probably like most about this deal?
Hmm.
What what I like most is that they got it done, I'd say, relatively early. Like, they
Yeah.
made a decision and they just got it done. There was no holdout. There was no headache.
And
Thank God,
okay,
dude. Thank
well, how about this?
God.
Yeah, I mean, how about this? Not to spoil the next topic, but there was another big contract that happened,
Yeah.
and I won't get to that player yet because that's another topic. But to that point, a couple probably months ago now, maybe a month or two ago, you had a topic about I don't even know his name, in now being in charge of contracts for the
Oh,
Niners.
Parag. I feel like he was always involved, with
Right.
the contract extensions, but I think now he's a little bit more involved. There's not going to be Kyle Shanahan running up to the office to, say, you know what, actually, we need to make this deal. It's
Right.
they say that, you know what I mean? But we'll talk about it a little bit more with the next player because the 49ers said that they wanted to get younger and cheaper. And the player that, they extended, the long snapper they brought in, a couple players here and there. It's not exactly like Kyle Juszczyk. They let him go, then they brought him back, right? Uh, it's like either they changed their minds or I don't know. Like it's just a little bit contradictory. But in terms of Brock Purdy's deal, I will say the 49ers, they put themselves in a situation, in a position where among their team needs in the offseason, I don't think that they could have afforded to add quarterback to that list of needs. So unless they wanted to test the waters with Mac Jones, which in my opinion wouldn't have been the worst decision they could have made because, Shanahan is good at maximizing a quarterback, right? I think that's his deal. He doesn't in my honest opinion, I don't think he is a great quarterback developer. I think his system can actually be at times hard physically, on a quarterback because they take so much punishment. There's so many free rushers that go to the quarterback. Uh, I'd say unless they wanted to go the Mac Jones route, they needed to pay Brock Purdy. They didn't have a choice. I mean, what do you want to do? If you sign Aaron Rodgers, it's not going to be a long-term